Hello, and welcome to the 2021 IEEE Rising Stars Conference. My name is Phil Batista, and my guests today are Carolyn Andrews and Donna Raum. They're both featured speakers at the conference today. I'd like to welcome you both.
Thanks so much, Phil. We are glad to be here of the Rising Stars Conference. It is an awesome conference, and we're looking forward to every single speaker, and we're looking forward to a chance to talk to all of the attendees.
Fabulous. Thank you again both for joining us today to talk about leadership. Carolyn, what key points can you and Donna bring to the table for our audience today in terms of what it takes to become a leader or recognize that you are a leader?
Hey, well, thanks. And I'll mention a few, and then Donna's got some great ones to talk about. One of the most important things that we want to say to everyone is you don't have to be in a position titled leadership. You don't have to have a team. You don't have to have an important, just that important title that goes with it to be a leader, because the truth is you need to be a leader all the time. And what we want to share with you is there are certain traits that make people strong leaders. And we're going to talk about those in our presentation. We're going to talk about the 5 traits that we think are the most important. We're going to talk about building relationships, and we're going to talk about how to communicate effectively. And by the way, I hope you'll join us because we've got a special gift for you at the end that will really make a difference in your ability to communicate. So Donna, you've got a couple points that you make in the presentation that I just think are fabulous, and they're so important for people to understand so that they realize that all day, every day, they need to be learning and growing and thinking about leadership. Why don't you share a couple of those with us?
Absolutely. Thank you, Carolyn. I'm Donna Raum, and I'm super excited to chat with the Rising Stars community. And one of the things we think is most important to take away is that leadership is for everyone. As Carolyn said, you don't need to be in a position with a title of leadership in order to lead. In fact, if you're a human being on planet Earth, then you are a leader. And there's a couple of really important reasons why that's true. First of all, you need to know how to lead yourself. You will probably be the most challenging and longest living leadership project you'll ever have. And so self-leadership in terms of personal development is absolutely essential. And it makes you perfect to lead other people as well. Another really important thing is that you're always leading. Even if you don't realize it, people are watching. There's simply no way for you to undo your influence on other people around you. And so it's critically important that we lead with character. And today we're going to unpack, as Carolyn said, some of the most essential character traits that go into making you a leader that people are excited to follow.
Thank you so much. That's great. Carolyn, I'd like to hear some more from you and Donna both.
Yeah, well, thanks. So I want to tell you the traits that we're going to talk about because you'll see how important they are. But the other thing is that you will see that we are all a work in progress. When we talk about these traits like courage and integrity and authenticity and trust and loyalty, those are big words, and it is a challenge that we have to work on every day to grow all of those traits. And what you'll see when you hear us talk about it is that they all interact together. So one trait will flow into another one. For example, growing your integrity, being a person of integrity all the time. Donna has a fantastic explanation of integrity and what it means. And I can't wait for you to hear it, because when you do, you will realize that growing that skill is something that will help with trust, not just trust in others, but others trusting you, and maybe more importantly, you trusting yourself. So as we bring all 5 of those together and you see the interaction in them, you'll realize that it is a process. It is a journey. And I want to point out that this is not something just about work. It's not just about every day at work. Being a leader is being a leader in every part of your life. So whether it's your career or your business, whether it's your family, your community, you're a leader all the time across all those areas. So you can see how important it is to develop these skills and to really think of yourself as a leader, act like a leader, help other people by leading and supporting them. We're also going to talk to you a little bit about building relationships and your communication style. So Donna, you want to share a little bit about the importance of relationships?
Sure, I'd love to. I think relationship building is a perfect example of what we mean when we talk about growth in leadership and growth as an individual. We all have relationships, so we're very familiar with the concept of relationships don't just happen poof, right? They grow over time. We understand that they require work, they require an investment. They can be absolutely the most rewarding experiences. They can also be very, very challenging and sometimes even painful. So in the same way that growing relationships really pay off, growing yourself as a leader is the same concept. It's the same kind of a payoff. It's difficult, it's challenging, and you may hear us talk about these qualities like courage and authenticity and integrity and trust and communication, and it may seem like a daunting task to develop yourself across all those areas. But what we have to remember is anyone who is a consistently excellent leader, they didn't get there overnight. Just like you don't suddenly have a relationship overnight, you don't suddenly become a leader overnight. And so don't be intimidated by the need to have all these qualities. They are not built in a day, they're built daily. And it's fun. It's the most worthwhile investment you can ever make. Because this investment begins as an investment in yourself, but it ends up as an investment in others. And when you start to see the way in which you've been able to influence other people in your life, and you've been able to help them rise to the challenges that they face, you've been able to multiply and maximize their giftings, it is absolutely exhilarating and rewarding.
That's fantastic. You know, that's one of the common themes that I've come across in interviewing the speakers at the conference here this year is this focus on giving back. And I can tell you when you and I'm always encouraged by our team to give back. And it's when you give back, and you give back because you want to give, not because you want to get. It's this continuing return on investment that money can't buy that. It's an investment that you make on a daily basis, on a recurring basis. And it's just something that helps other people grow, and it helps you grow, and it reinforces your skills, and it continues to develop your skills as a leader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really true. And you know, when we think about that concept of giving back, there's one thing that we're going to talk about is being an authentic person. And by being who you really are and doing what you're supposed to do, you allow other people to do the same. So you create a culture of openness and a culture of acceptance. And that really is a way to give back to everyone around you. But it's also a way to give back to yourself. So just like all of these traits interact in multiple ways, they also interact across people. So sometimes you're supporting others and they're turning around and supporting you. So as you develop these leadership skills and you become a better leader, you become a better giver, And in turn, you receive more than you ever would. So it's a beautiful circle. As opposed to the vicious circle we get ourselves in sometimes, this is a beautiful circle when you grow yourself as a leader and make a difference to other people.
That's fantastic. And Carolyn, you mentioned a gift that you intend to give the viewers here in the audience and those that are at the conference. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I can. If you're familiar with the DISC profile, the DISC assessment, that allows you to understand your communication style. And in addition, it helps you identify other people's communication styles. That's so important because we need to communicate the way other people need to hear us, or we don't communicate effectively. So understanding who we are, all about communication skills, understanding how someone else likes to receive information allows us to be effective and to not have that illusion. And by the way, I'm gonna give you a little hint. Donna tells a hysterical story in the presentation about her daughter. So you'll want to hear that. A perfect example of her daughter not hearing what Donna was saying and the results of that. So I think you'll all be able to relate to it, and then you'll truly understand from that example, you'll truly understand that it is an illusion many times that we think someone has heard what we said to them when they really heard something completely different. The DISC assessment allows you to understand how to effectively communicate without having that happen, so that there is a reality of communication rather than illusion of communication. At the end of our presentation, we're going to share with you how you can get that gift. It's a free gift, how you can get that assessment and really just get some incredible learning about yourself and others through that. So we hope that you will join us and take advantage of that gift.
Well, and you're using some powerful words and maybe some challenging words for people who have an education but not a lot of experience. I mean, words like courage, words like integrity, those aren't academic words about learning a particular process or a particular formula. And communication is key in that. And I always love the phrase, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. I'm an amateur radio operator, and you turn on the radio and you hear these people that would like to be radio announcers, but that's not who they're supposed to be, and they just love to talk. I've found that it's most effective for me as a consultant with different industries, and it's a challenge for me, by the way, to make sure that I listen twice as much as I speak.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit more. We've got about 2 or 3 more minutes. I'd like to actually ask each one of you, Donna, let's go with you first. Who do you think has made the biggest impact in giving back to you in your life?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question. I just want to say Carolyn has made a huge, huge impact giving back to me in my life. She has the most generous spirit, and she has a lot to give. She is talented on the inside and on the outside. And so as 2 women in technology, it has been profoundly encouraging to me to have her alongside. She has such a wealth of experience and wisdom. And she's so real. She tells me stories of mistakes that she's made and how she's learned. And it's so encouraging to me because I'm out there making the same mistakes. And again, it's that relationship. It's that ability for me. I can let my hair down with her and come home after a day where I failed and unpack it with her. She is just a consistent North Star in my life. I'm so grateful for her.
That's fantastic. Carolyn's been a great influence in my life as well. I can tell you that. Carolyn, we've got about another minute and a half. I'd like to ask you the same question. You've had a lot of influence in many people's lives, left a great legacy for many people. Tell us who you have seen as the greatest influence in your life giving back to you.
That's hard to narrow it down, because I'll tell you, as you get older and you have more experiences, you need different things, and this is for everybody, but you need different things in different parts of your life. So in my early career, I had a mentor who was all about work ethic. Her name was Leanna. She was amazing. I learned my work ethic from Leanna. Later on, one of our great leaders of American Express, Donna and I are both from American Express. One of our great leaders, who was the president of American Express, I worked on a special project with him. And one of the things that he reinforced for me that other people had been causing me problems with is, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, I'm pretty nice. And when you're in a leadership role, and I was a senior level executive, people don't expect you to be nice. So I really got tired of, well, you're too nice, you're too nice. And what Al Kelly shared with me was, he's very nice too. And what he shared with me was, you can be nice and you can be effective. And don't ever forget that. You don't have to be a certain type of person performing the way people think to be successful. You have to be, I'll use that word authentic again, who you are. And of course, throughout my life, I will always tell you that my mother was an amazing mentor for me. She did things in her early life that most women weren't doing. And she always said to me, you can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you want to do. And I've never forgotten that. So many amazing people around me. And maybe it's just the number of years, right? And the seasons of life. But there are just, I've been so blessed with amazing mentors that I can't narrow it down.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to your session today for both of you, and what a wonderful gift you have to give. And again, thank you for being speakers at the Rising Stars Conference for 2021.
Oh, thank you so much, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome.